Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Sweat Club. We've got a big group here today. So for those of you who are joining after, I hope you can feel the energy that we're going to send you. It is also a full moon today. So whether you're woo-woo or not woo-woo, we're going to have more energy for the class from the full moon as well. We are starting fully reclined today. So come to your mat and lay down and relax. Two options. Option one, recovery pose. Option two, Shavasana. Recovery pose is feet wide, knees together. I kind of like this version because it allows my low back to go down on the mat. Can kind of wiggle side to side. And then lift your shoulders up a little bit, no matter what you're in, and try to squeeze your scapula together and then put your shoulders back down on the mat. So it just lengthens the neck a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. If your palms are down, flip them up so they face up towards the sky. Relax your fingers. And then bring your awareness to that gentle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. If your mind starts to wander away from the breath, bring it back to just the inhale and exhale. Remember, this is your hour just for you today. So if you decide you would rather lay on the mat and do nothing for the next hour, fantastic. If that's what you need, great. Otherwise, I'll give a lot of different options in class today. So make sure to advocate for your own body. Today's class will be all about flowing with the river of life, which includes flowing with the needs of your mind and your body. Let's start to deepen those inhales. Push your belly button up to the sky as you draw breath all the way into the bottom of your lungs. And then exhale, pull the belly button up and in, emptying the lungs. Again, inhale. And exhale. Think of your diaphragm like a big balloon. With every breath in, get a little bigger. With every breath out, let your hips get heavier. If you know Ujjayi breath, you can start to constrict the back of your throat, making your breath sound like an ocean wave. Otherwise, your goal today is just equal inhales and equal exhales. On your next breath in, flip your palms down onto the ground and then shimmy them by your sides so they're in line with your hips. If you're in Shavasana, slowly drag one foot up and place it by your butt and then the other. And if you're in recovery pose, just separate your knees and walk your hips hip-width distance apart. Recalibrating, low back presses down into the mat. Inhale. Exhale. On your next breath in, draw your left knee up in towards your chest, and then just take your left hand and hug the left knee in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your foot up to the sky, but keep your knee nice and bent, and then grab your hand behind your thigh. Curl your toes back towards your face. Inhale. Exhale. On your next breath in, reach your left hand up to either the outside of your ankle or maybe to your foot. And then notice once you kind of pull down, your knee will come into your chest. Sometimes in Happy Baby, this is what we like to do in class, but if you notice, our chest or our hips tend to stop us. So now take your knee to the outside of your tricep. So bring it from the inside all the way to the outside so the inside of the knee connects with the inside of the tricep. Option to have the hand here, same action though. Try to bring the knee to the outside of the forearm, then pull down and into half Happy Baby. Once you're here, option to stay with your right knee bent or lengthen the right leg down to the ground and try to make sure your right heel releases to the ground. Shimmy your right leg a little bit, just encourage it to relax as you pull down and in with the left hand. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Try to shimmy your shoulder blades together, lift up your upper back for a little bit, and then lower it back down. Pull down once more. See if you can get the knee in a little bit. And then start to push your foot into your hand into your foot. So it's almost like pressing on a gas pedal, right? Start to rev up, push harder and harder, and then you can stop when you feel like you're engaged in the stretch, driving some strength into the passive range. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Now exhale, release your left hand, keep your left foot exactly where it is, and then bring your left hand down by your side. So we've got a half Happy Baby, but we're holding it just with our legs. If your neighbor's looking in your window, they're like, what is even happening? Now slide your right foot back up the mat and then place your left foot on the mat. Both hands by the sides. Inhale, lift the hips high. First bridge pose of the day. So be really gentle with it. Try to pull your hips back or your feet back towards your hips. Squeeze the core in and think about lengthening instead of your back or your belly up to the sky. Today, think about lengthening the hip flexors up to the sky. Breath in and out. Another inhale. And then exhale, lower one vertebra at a time down to the mat. Inhale, draw your right knee into your chest, and then take your right hand and wrap it around the shin, pull it in first. So we find that little squeeze. And then you're going to feel your thigh or maybe your hip is just stopping you from pulling in anymore. That's fine. Then reach your right foot up to the sky and then reach the right hand to the outside of either the foot or the ankle. So we start with this Happy Baby where the knee is into the chest. And for me, this is really restrictive. I consider this almost like a half Happy Baby, right? Now we'll take it the full way is where we widen the knee out to the side, knee to the tricep. So you're going to take the knee from the inside to the outside, maybe the knee to the outside of the forearm. Pull down and in. So think about your knee coming next to your right shoulder on the ground. And then option is straighten through the left leg, trying to relax the left leg, left hip flexor. Think about your foot and your hand as you're turning on the gas pedal, right? Start to push the foot into the hand into the foot. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. And then once you've done your inhale, pause, try to release the foot where it is, keeping the hand off the foot, bring the hand down by your side. Breath in. Exhale, slide your left foot up the mat, right foot comes to the ground next to it, and then inhale, immediately we lift our hips high into round 2 of bridge pose. Once more, think about pulling the heels to the hips, squeeze your glutes in and up, push the hip flexors to the sky, then push the belly to the sky. Maybe, because this is round 2, you can shimmy the shoulder blades together a little bit and think about pushing your chest towards your forehead. So the bend really is like a big rainbow, right? Breath in. And out. Another inhale. And exhale, we walk the vertebra down the mat one at a time. See if you can't push one vertebra. Take your time. If you're going slower than me, you're killing it. And then eventually you'll bring the low back to the mat. Release the hips down. Inhale, draw the knees into the chest, and then rock and roll yourself up to a seat. But let's take 4. So at least 2 more rock and rolls, focusing on every vertebra hitting the ground. And then once you're there, come on up. Bring your feet together, your knees wide into a butterfly pose. If this is hard for you, option to come up onto a bolster. Notice I start with my knees pretty high. This is totally normal. Push your feet together, and then with the strength of just your legs, try to push your knees down. So you should feel like there's kind of a stopping point, right? Bring your hands to the insides of your feet. Breath in. Exhale, bring your elbows down into the knees. So we have a little bit of a passive stretch. If you can't get here because you're up, your spine isn't rounding, great news. There's another option. Push the hands into the knees rather than the elbows. Either way, your arms will be working, and we're attempting to get into passive range. So tell your hip flexors to release. Inhale. Exhale. Another breath in. Now listen carefully. As you exhale, start to push your knees away from your elbows. So your knees will push down. It's almost like they want to get away from the elbows, but don't lift your elbows. And then another inhale. Place your elbows onto your knees. Exhale. So essentially what we're doing is we're inching our way down, right? Inhale. Now push your knees away from your elbows. Push, 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 push. How much further can you push? And then bring your elbows or your hands to meet your knees. Exhale. One more time. Breath in. Now start to push, 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 push the elbows away. 3, 2, and 1. Elbows to knees. Drop your head down. Stay where you are. Breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, lift yourself back up. The knees might come back up after all that. And then walk them out in front of you. Let's windshield wiper the legs quickly just to bring a little bit of blood flow back into the hips if it came out. And then kick your feet around to the side. Come to tabletop pose, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Close your eyes and go through some cat and cow. But think about when you're moving, how can you move differently than normal? So instead of starting the cat-cow at our hinge point, right? Maybe you can start at the spine. Maybe you can do a spinal wave. Move with your breath. Close your eyes and look at your third eye. Now, I mentioned today that our class is about flowing with the river of life. You're like, Madison, that's so hippie. What does that mean? Well, sometimes we might try to paddle against the current, the direction that life is trying to take us, and not realize it. So as you're moving through cat and cow, this is almost a river-like movement, right? I'd like you to think about the direction that you are trying to take your life right now. Things that you've been working on, maybe some goals that you've set for yourself. On your next exhale, come back to tabletop pose. Walk your hands one handprint forward, curl your toes under. Option 1 is to just stay here and kind of push your heels towards your butt and imagine you're gonna just go and launch off the mat. Option 2 is the same motion, but instead of not lifting the knees, you just lift the knees up. So either way, it's like we're gonna spring off of our mat, hold, quads should be engaged. 3, push into your hands. 2, and then 1, exhale up and back, downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Maybe bend in your knees slightly. Try to tilt your pelvis up towards the sky and then re-straighten your legs. Breath in and out. Inhale, look forward. Bend in your knees. And then slowly walk yourself with intention to the top of the mat. How are you traveling? Once you're there, find Uttanasana, take feet hip width distance apart and fold forward. Option to have a big bend in your knees, which can be really nice sometimes, especially this early on in class, our hamstrings. I don't know why my hamstrings are feeling it today. So allow yourself that room to kind of stretch, maybe sway side to side. Inhale, halfway lift. Slide your hands up your shins. Let's all take the hands to the shins for this first one, even if you can do 2 fingers. Let's do this first. And then exhale, fold. Same thing as we come up for the next one. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Once more, inhale, half lift. Squeeze. Bend into your knees and then reach your hands forward. Exhale here. Inhale, sit back, chair pose very briefly. Biceps are in line with the ears. Just starting to get some life into the legs, maybe bounce a little bit. See how your legs are feeling today. Hey, legs, we're gonna work a little bit. It's not gonna be that bad, I promise. It's okay, they won't know that you're lying to them. Breath in. Exhale, come to standing, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we're going to flow through a moon salutation today rather than a sun. Some of you might be like, oh, we've been doing a lot of moon salutations. We do, because it's one of my favorites. But keep that in mind today, that we're doing moon instead of sun. Celebrate the moon, hands by your sides. And then let's flow. Inhale, hands high, look up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, bend in your knees super generously. Take a look at me. Ideally bend so much that you can plant your hands first, then step your right foot back. Lower your back knee down, untuck your toe. Option to pad the back knee. Remember, if you have pain on the knee, pad the back knee. Your weight should be on above the knee though, rather than on the kneecap. And then come on up, Anjaneyasana, hands high. Pull your left hip back in space and pull your right hip flexor forward. So it's kind of almost like this running action. If you have tight hip flexors like me, the more you sink, the more you should pull. So instead of this being just like a really loosey-goosey, I'm fabulous yoga pose, it should be like a really strong, deep, like, oh, we're in a stretch and we're pulling pose. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, sweep your hands back and take airplane. So this is a riff on our moon salutation. Now that you're in airplane with the hands back, chest tilts forward, can you sink down even more into the hip flexor, but keep pulling? Don't stop pulling. Left foot back, right knee forward. Breath in. And out. One more inhale. Exhale, plant your hands down, frame your foot. Tuck your back toe under, lift your back knee up. Now, we all might make it there a different way, but we're gonna come to a forward fold. So option 1, make your way there however you want. Option 2, bend in your back knee, try to lift, and then step, Uttanasana. Breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, big bend in the knees, step your left foot back. My hips feel so uneven. I'm like excited for this side. Untuck your back toe and then sink first. See if you can sink down. Inhale up, Anjaneyasana. So first we find the balance. If you feel off balance here, you can also separate, wiggle your right foot out to the side a little bit, and you might feel more stable. Remember, pull the right hip back, left hip flexor forward. So it's almost like you're trying to drag this whole leg up as you pull yourself down and into the posture. Biceps are strong as you reach the fingertips up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Another breath in. Exhale, stay, keep pulling. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, sweep the hands back, lean forward, airplane. So we have 3 breaths here. Notice how this changed the sensation and the posture in the hip flexor. Can you get down deeper? But remember, it's not passive. As you breathe, pull the right heel backwards, the left hip flexor forward. 3, 2, and then 1. Hands come down to the ground. Curl your back toe under. Option 1, make your way to the top of the mat. Option 2, you'll bend, step, lift, and then fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, butt back, take your arms wide. Let's lift up high to the ceiling. Look on up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep your hands high. Exhale, clasp your hands behind your back. So option one is going to be to either clasp here, or you could grab for the arms, right? You could even take prayer hands if you're already warmed up for that, but still maybe a little early. So just find something where you can roll the shoulders back. Think about squeezing your scapula together, and then notice it's natural to come into a back bend. So we're gonna just take a baby back bend as you squeeze and look high. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Another breath in. And out. One more. Inhale here. Exhale, release the hands, and then fold forward really slowly, gingerly with the back, into Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, big bend in your knees, step back. Option to be in tabletop here. Remember, tabletop and plank are the same action. We're working on strengthening the arms. So let's lower down slow. 3, 2, 1. Untuck your toes, inhale up, baby cobra, no hands. Exhale, stay. A wave, inhale up, try to get higher every time. Exhale, stay. Push into the tops of your feet, inhale up, squeeze and lift. Exhale, stay. We can do one more. I know, you got it. One more, lift up. Exhale, release down, forehead to the mat. Breath in. And out. Curl your toes under. Push yourself up to either plank or tabletop pose. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your feet together today. Big toes touch, sliver of space between your heels. And then inhale your right leg high. Pull your left hip back in space. Right leg is nice and long. If your foot's pointed, that's fine. If you think it's fancier, I'm totally okay with that. But make sure if you point it, you don't open the hip. We keep it closed. Sink the left heel down. Breath in and out. Option to stay with the leg high, or inhale, reach, exhale, right knee, right tricep. Inhale back. Exhale, right knee, right tricep again. Tuck, try and lift. Inhale up. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Take a breath in. And then exhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So few options here. Option 1, back knee comes down. We're kind of in this big prep. You could have your hands on blocks, something to help lift you up higher. Option 2, knee up off the ground. Push into the hands and around through your upper spine to start. So we're going to do cat-cow in the spine without the legs moving. You got it. Inhale, drop your belly. Roll your shoulders back. Try to pull your chest forward as you look high. Exhale, tuck and round, cat. Look at your belly button. Inhale, drop your belly, shoulders back. Exhale, tuck and round. Last time, inhale, belly drops, shoulders squeeze, and then exhale, come to center, a long, even spine. Inhale, reach your right hand up and twist over to the right side. So remember, once you start to get tired, you can bring that back knee down, but try to lift the fingertips up to the sky, and then roll your left shoulder backwards and squeeze your scapula together. So you should kind of imagine it's almost like you're doing an up dog in the chest, because we're trying to push the chest forward as we reach up. 3, 2, and then 1. Exhale, sweep your hand down. Option 1, step right to down dog. Option 2, take a breath in. Lift your right foot while it's connected, your knee is connected to your tricep, and then exhale back, downward facing dog. Breath in. and out. Inhale your left leg high. Pull the right hip back in space. Same thing. If you're pointing, that's fine. But when we point, we have a tendency to open. So keep it closed. Sinking the right hip down. Push the hands into the mat. Inhale here. Option to stay and just work on lifting the leg. Or exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale, left leg high. Don't beat me. Nice and slow. I know you think, what if I changed it up? You can't move too fast. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. And then now step through outside low lunge. Option to bring this back knee down. If the back knee is down, remember, we're still doing the pulling action, trying to drag the right foot forward. If it's up, no problem. Now, we do our cat and cow. Spine moves, but lower body doesn't. So inhale, drop your belly, roll your shoulders back. Try to pull your chest forward. Exhale, round cat. Try to fight the tendency to have your hips creep up as you do this. Inhale, drop, chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, round cat. Keep pushing down into the right hip flexor. Inhale. Shoulders squeeze together, chest forward. And then exhale, last cat variety. I'm kind of just trying to distract you from your legs here. Inhale, back to center. Shift your weight over into your right hand and then inhale, left hand high as you twist up, reach the fingertips up. Now, on this side, you might be able to see a little bit better. There's two options. Your shoulder might look like this. If you peek at my shoulder, this is incorrect. We want to roll the shoulder down and back and under, right? If you saw, I lift it as I reach. Breath in. Pull your left hip back in space to maintain equilibrium. Breath out. Another breath in. And out. Last time. Inhale here. Exhale, replace your left hand down to the ground. Connect your knee to your tricep. Maybe lift and exhale back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, look forward. Bend in your knees. Step, or if you really want to hop, remember today is very much about you and your river and how you're flowing. Exhale, fold. Top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, butt back, arms wide, push yourself up to standing, look high. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands by your sides. Tadasana, close your eyes. So you thought briefly about the direction that you're trying to take your life, your goals. Before we move on to this next section, I'd like you to think about something that's really working for you. Something that you love to do where you feel like you're super in your zone. As we move through this next section, when things get hard, I want you to come back to this feeling. However, this moving in your zone makes you feel. Blink your eyes open. And then step your feet together if they're wide. Inhale, look up, sweep high. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, bend in your knees. Step your right foot back, right foot, not left. And then option one, knee down. Option two, come on up, Anjaneyasana. Pull your left hip back in space. So everything we cue on the ground with the knee down is the same concept on the knee up. Even here, try to tuck your pelvis under a little bit and you'll get more of a stretch in that right hip flexor. Mine is like, wah. Reach the hands high, breath in. And then exhale, sweep to airplane arms. Same thing we did low, we just do high. Keep your legs where they are. We're going to flow. Inhale up, crescent. Exhale, sweep, airplane. Inhale up, crescent. And then exhale, sweep your hands down, frame your foot. Bend in the back knee, option one. However you want to go to Uttanasana. Option 2, try to lean and lift the leg up and then step Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, bend in your knees, step your left foot back. Option to bring the left knee down or inhale up, crescent pose. We take a little time to set up here too. Remember, right hip back. Big shift, right? This is how I naturally want to be, but instead we're going to be here. Big shift back. Pull your left hip flexor forward. Then try to tuck your pelvis almost, then sink down. So you should feel the stretch in the hip flexor. Hands are high. Inhale. Now only the torso moves. Exhale, sweep, airplane arms. Inhale up. Continue to pull in the legs. They should be shaking. Exhale, sweep, mine are. I'm surprised mine are shaking a lot. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep the hands down, frame the foot. That's how you know I'm in it with you guys. We're all in this together. Bend into your back knee. Look forward. Step, lift into Uttanasana. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to plank pose. We'll lower down slow. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, up dog, or maybe baby cobra. If you're an up dog, remember hips off the mat. Pull forward. Squeeze the scapula together. And then exhale all the hips down to the ground. Curl your toes under. Press yourself up to plank or tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. I know, we're getting right into it. Point the toe this time. Let's all do it, keeping that hip closed. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Option to skip these and just stay with your left leg high. Inhale, or sorry, your right leg high. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Last time, inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Come to your low lunge and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So, a few more options. Option 1 is where you're going to stay just like this, trying to squeeze your right knee in towards your tricep. Option 2, back knee can come down, same thing. Option 3, which you're welcome to try to play with, if you've got some room in your hips, you might try to come down towards your forearms as you bring the knee up. If you can't reach your forearms, maybe you just have one hand, you take your left hand out to the side, see if you can sink down, and just lighten the weight in your right hand. Maybe you come back up. Breath in. And out. Remember, trying to keep the knee into the center. Breath in. And out. Last time. Inhale here. Exhale, plant your hands. Push yourself up if you were down. And then inhale your right hand high, twisting over to the right side. Exhale, everybody lower the back knee down, untuck the toe. Option to stay. In this twist, you're going to take 4 breaths. Maybe you bring the hand behind the low back to try to roll the shoulders back. If it feels okay, you can start to bend into that left knee and maybe tickle your fingers on the outside, your right fingers on the outside of that foot. Instead of clasping it and making a big stretch today though, I'd like you to just sit and see if you can get the strength to bring your foot towards your hand without actually pulling. Because to be honest, pulling might be a little bit cheating, right? Yes, the answer is yes. See, I'm just tickle, tickle, tickle. Hopefully you're not ticklish. The worst joke ever. 3, 2, and then 1. If your knee was up, you can lower it down. Hands come down to the ground. Curl the back toe under. Lift the back knee up and back, downward facing dog. Breath in. And out. A reminder, you can do all these movements from tabletop as well if down dog is too much for you. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale, left leg high. Close the hip, exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left tricep, and then we step with grace, right? Oh my God, grace to the outside of the hand. Perfect. Option one, exactly what we did before, zipping the knee into the tricep. Option two, back knee comes down. You could get light in the fingers, even if it's a lot in the fingers, you could come up a little bit, just see how that feels for you. Option three is where we come down to the elbows. Remember, if you're down on your elbows, or maybe you're on your left hand with your right hand out hovering, try to keep the knee into the midline today. So rather than letting it fall out, I know that's a nice hip stretch, but that's not what we're working on today. So breath in and out. Another breath in and out. Last time, inhale. And then exhale, tuck your back toe under if you like. Maybe press up to your hands. And then twist, inhale, over to the left. So we've got 4 breaths here. Our options for the twist are the hand around the back. Remember, that's 1. Or if that doesn't work for you, you can just keep it high. Option to keep the back knee down and maybe bring the foot up, and we just tickle the foot. Just like a light little, hello, how are you doing? Good to see you. We're BFFs. Squeeze, but don't pull. Push your right hip flexor down. 3. Breath in. 2. Breath out. And then 1. Inhale. Sweep the hand up. Lower the back knee down. Curl your back toes under. Connect your left knee to your tricep. Inhale. Lift the foot. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog. You have 5 breaths in down dog. So either stay in down dog or come to child's pose. Take your knees wide, feet together. So this is the time to slow down the breath. Come back to your rhythm, right? And then we already considered the things that you're good at, things that make you feel like you're in flow with life. In this position, reflect on maybe some things in your life that you don't enjoy, things that you might do, but they don't feel like they're in flow with what you're really maybe good at, or just what resonates with you. And remember, we all have to do these things in life, right? But right now, just reflect on what maybe some of those large ones in life are. Take 1 more breath. And then everyone meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank pose, either knees up or knees down. Exhale, lower. 3, 2, 1. Inhale up, baby cobra. Everybody baby cobra this time. Hover your fingertips. And then walk 1 elbow out in front, the other elbow coming to Sphinx pose. So there's the option to do this here in Sphinx or to come down to your back. It's up to you. You can maybe play with down in the back first to make sure it feels good for you. Bend into your left knee and slide it out to the side. So your left knee is in line with your left hip and your ankle is in line with your knee. Then, maybe if that feels okay, you can push yourself up into Sphinx pose. Try to encourage the left hip to drop down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Now we'll move through hip rotation in this position, which means things might get a little bit harder. So you're always welcome to maybe go down halfway. Just listen to your body, take a breath in, and then I'll ask you to internally rotate the thigh. What does that mean? That means the thigh will roll in, the foot will roll up towards the ceiling, but we keep pushing the left heel down. Hold and squeeze. If you get a cramp, remember, cramps are great. That means you're doing something new. You're working in a space you don't normally work. So just come out, come back in. Think about your turning a door handle. See how much you can rotate. Mine gets a little bit more every time. Squeeze and rotate. Squeeze and rotate. 3, 2, whew, and then 1, very slowly. Oh, it's like in your hip, right? It is. We're working on a hip capsule, so it makes sense. Lower down. Now we're going to do the opposite and try to focus on external rotation, which is crazy. because ideally you're thinking about your thigh rolling out and pushing your foot down into the floor. So it's not going to look like you're doing anything, but you should feel the opposite action. So just start to think about your thigh is rolling out and back, and you're pushing your ankle into the floor. A little bit more. If that doesn't make sense, the best case scenario, just push your whole left leg into the floor if it's not thinking right in your head. 3, 2, 1. Breath in. Then exhale, zip the legs back together. Option to stay high or take it out to the other side. I'll spin around. And then draw your right knee out to the right side. So first we find that bend. It might be easier here. If that's how far you can go, that's great. If you can, try to bring your knee in line with your hip, your ankle in line with your knee. Remember, any bend is good. We're working. Squeeze your shoulder blades together if you're up with me. And then first just kind of passively release, tell that right hip to settle down to the ground. Breath in. And now start to internally rotate. So the thigh will roll in and the foot will want to come up, but we don't slide the leg any, right? Just try to think about turning the door handle. Turn, turn, turn. Little bit more every breath. If your breaths are like this right now, that's okay. That's all right. This part isn't that much yoga. It's more mobility, right? So you have the permission to just breathe however you can. 3. And maybe this doesn't feel in flow state for you, and that's what you're thinking right now. You're like, this is the thing that's for me. That's fine. 2. And then 1, lower the leg down. Now the opposite action. Think about rolling the thigh outward. And when you do that, it'll almost feel like you want to lift the knee, but push the ankle into the ground. So you're just going to start driving that right ankle into the ground while trying to rotate your right thigh up and out. Push, push, push. 3. I know it's weird. We're just pushing into the floor, right? Doesn't seem like much, but it's much. 2. Great. And then 1, zip your feet back together. Slide them. Hands can come together. Bring your forehead to your hands. Breath in and out. Bring your hands by your sides. Hug your elbows in. Curl your toes under. Press up to plank or tabletop. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk, maybe very mindfully and slowly, which you know I love, or hop to the top of the mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, butt back, arms high. Push yourself up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right. Hands can stay either, I like a clasp. So if you can't see, my hands are like clasped together. It works really well for me. Otherwise, you're welcome to either bring the hands to the hips, but I think let's just all, I'm supposed to be teaching, right? So teach and tell you to do this. Squeeze your hands together. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Draw your right knee up any amount. Instead of drawing it to the center, let's take it out to the side. So you're going to lift up and then out. You might be here playing with balance, right? You might be up here. Ideally, I'd like you to point into that right foot. And then I'm already in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this because I'm already tired, but that's fine. We're going to do it together. Bring your right knee into your right tricep. There we go. So you're just going to hug and hold here. Strong into the left leg. And then breathe better than I'm breathing. Deeply. Yes. 3, 2. The sound didn't go out. I'm just making you hold longer. Okay, 1. Release the knee. Zip it into the center. Option to stay here and work on the balance or point the toe. Reach it towards me. 3, 2, 1. Release. Both feet together, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Breath in. And out. Okay, rinsing and wringing. Opposite side. Here we go. Shift your weight over into your right leg. Left knee comes up. Start here. And then swing that bad boy out to the side. So remember, your options are to maybe work on lifting and just squeezing through this hip flexor, or bringing the knee up towards the tricep. Hug the knee in, straight and strong through the right leg. Think about squeezing your scapula together. So your torso is still long and tall, crown of the head to the ceiling. As you here, you were loving it. I was loving it. I think I said 3, 2, and then maybe you could have held there for like 15 minutes. So squeeze And then release both feet together, hands by your sides, Tadasana. All right, getting back into the flow. Inhale, hands high, look up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose, lower down slow. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, up, baby cobra or up dog. It's up to you. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes under, hug the elbows in. We press up, plank or tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Then inhale your right leg high. Exhale, right knee, right tricep, and step the foot to the outside of the hand. Low lunge. Okay, this time, everybody bring the back knee down and then wiggle your right foot forward slightly. So we're kind of in like a little bit more of a wide lizard lunge. Option 1 is going to be to push the right knee out to the side and take a big stretch. If the next part isn't accessible to you, you might do a stretch with the hand on the knee and just feel good as you open the hip. Option 2 will be to try to wiggle your right hand under that knee. I should come to this side so you can see better. You're gonna be like, et voila. Right hand under, and maybe you can hover right hand and left hand out to a T. Option 3 is you might take your right hand behind your right ankle like a little crab claw, grab for your ankle and try to put your shoulder under your knee and hold here in this big stretch. My left hand is firmly on the ground. You can't see it, but in this version, the left hand is super low. Remember, there's a million different options you can try. Just pick and play with it. If you're rolling your eyes at me, that's fine. Think about the leg as the backpack. Try to push the hips down and hold. Breath in. And out. Another breath in. And out. Last time, inhale. And then exhale, option to just untangle yourself and lift up in the back leg, or maybe you stay tangled, lift up in the back leg. Everybody look forward. The goal is to move to Uttanasana at the top of the mat. You might do an Uttanasana with the elbow under the knee, and then you feel very strange because one hand's under, one hand's not. Try to fold and lift. Release, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, butt back, arms wide, push up, look high. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands by your sides, Tadasana. I feel like it's a good time to remind people we're just making weird shapes with our bodies, right? Inhale, sweep your hands up, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, bend in your knees, step back to down dog. Moving right onto the other side, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left tricep, and then step, low lunge, back knee down for everybody. I know the hip flexors are gonna feel so good after this, I promise. So remember, you can start by staying here, shifting your weight into your right hand, pushing the left leg out to the side, big stretch. Super nice. Maybe you're able to come down, sneak that left hand under and just hover the fingertips on the ground on the right and left, arms to a T. Or maybe if you're able to get that left hand down low enough, you can take and bring it around the ankle. Try to tuck your shoulder under your leg, right? I'm wearing my leg like a backpack. Remember, I think I don't know if I mentioned this to everybody who's watching the recording, but my husband suggested this pose today. So if you have anybody to complain to, it's him and not me. Find that little shimmy, sink the hips down, hold and breathe. In and out. Another breath in, slow and steady. And out. Okay, last time. Inhale. Exhale. Option 1, untangle yourself, curl your back toe under, lift up. Option 2, you're just going to be strained with me. Try to maintain this. Bend into the back knee and then step into a wonky Uttanasana and attempt to fold with one arm tucked. Release, and then inhale, feet together, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, butt back, arms wide, lift yourself high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands by your side, Tadasana. Step your feet wide, toes out, heels in, and then sit your butt back into a yogi squat. But you know me, we're not gonna go like chill in a yogi squat because we're like, yeah, this is great. We're gonna go up a little bit higher. Push the knees into the elbows into the knees. Because some of us can't go that low. And it's not really fair if one of us is just relaxing while the rest is chilling, unless you need that. I did say you could take Shavasana all day today. Push elbows into knees, knees into elbows. Find that engagement. Squeeze the pelvic floor in and up. 3. Push, push, push. 2. Reach your hands out in front. 1. And then we'll come to standing really slow. Like we've got no rush in the world. Oh yeah, control yourself all the way up. Lift the hands high. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Sit yourself back. Yogi squat, one more time. Lower down. This time you can come down deep into the squat. Reach your hands forward, sit your butt back. If you've got like maybe anywhere from here to here space and you're a daredevil up here, you're gonna try to just lean the butt back and then plop onto your butt. Feet come down in front of you, moving on to our peak pose for today. So before we move into the peak posture, let's everybody take butterfly pose. Feet together, knees wide. Roll your shoulders back, sit tall. Close your eyes. So we talked briefly on flowing with this river, right? The things that make you feel in your flow state that feel good, maybe things that don't. But for peak pose today, I would like you to consider, if you have any questions, if you're trying to struggle to think about where to go, a decision that you're trying to make, have that in mind as we move through this posture and into Shavasana for the rest of class. Blink your eyes open. Make the lids of your eyes heavy. Try to think about what you might be wanting guidance on, question you might have. And then release your hands. We'll start with the left leg. The right foot is going to come in towards the pelvis. So take this in. Reminder, you might be up on a bolster or something to get your butt a little bit higher. Feel firm into that right glute, but ideally both sits bones for now. Eventually we're going to shift over onto the right side. Then take your left hand to the outside of your left foot and pull your knee to your tricep. We did this to start class. This is like the bow and arrow, right? It's almost like you're shooting an arrow. Option 1 is to stay here. Push your hand into your foot into your hand, and then at the same time, fight the urge to round. Try to bring your chest up high. Nice. If this feels good, like I said, you're going to stay. Option 2 will be to grab with your right hand, take your left hand and bring it under the knee. So remember what we just kind of did on the ground? Try to wear your shoulder like a backpack, or wear your knee like a backpack, right? So left knee over the left shoulder. When people make memes about yoga instructors cueing crazy stuff, these are what the memes are about. So he comes over the shoulder. Remember, you might be holding bow and arrow. If this feels okay, you can take your hand, your right hand, to the outside of the left foot. Left hand comes down to the ground. This is another option to stay here. If that is okay, you can start to straighten the leg, maybe point or flex the toe. Try to turn both shoulders forward, gaze up and under the arm. This is compass pose. So a pose for guidance, right? Try and look up. If you're shaking like crazy, that's normal. Remember, whatever you've chosen, you can come in, come out. So if you're here, come in. Maybe you release the hand, out. There's always something to be working on as we build up. This is a peak pose for a reason because it takes years to develop this. So find where you are. Breathe for a couple more seconds. And then release slowly with control. Come back to your butterfly pose. Hands to the feet, close your eyes. Come back to that intention. Feel the beat of your heart, the rhythm of your breath. Where is your compass trying to point you? And then blink your eyes open. We'll move on to the opposite side. So left heel will come in towards the hip. Right foot will grab for the outside edge of the foot. So you might stay here, or you bring it up and we've got our bow and arrow. Push the hand into the foot into the hand. So if you're staying here, this is actually really challenging because your inclination will be to round. You'll fight it by pulling the chest forward and up. Maybe from here, you're like, okay, I feel pretty good. I think I'm going to move on to the next bit. You reach the hand, left hand, to the outside of the left foot. It's going to come up, around. Thumb will point down, obviously. Otherwise, I don't think that's an option to go the other way. Okay, right hand sneaks under. Option to stay here. Shoulder backpack. Maybe you just work on the shoulder backpack today because that's always fun. Hand comes out to the side. If this feels okay, you can work on straightening the leg and looking up and over to the side. I'm going to stay on this side with, let's see, what option feels good for me? I'm going to stay here with the bow and arrow. If you're in compass pose, remember trying to bring both shoulders towards the front, same length, and looking up and under the armpit. If you're in bow and arrow, push the hand into the foot into the hand, core in, tilt the pelvis forward as we hold and breathe. If you come out, maybe you hover and come back in. Take one more breath, one more try. And then exhale, come out slowly with control. Instead of butterfly pose, we'll take the feet wide, bump your hips back, a wide-legged forward fold if that feels okay for you, or the other option is just to stay high. Breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. Another inhale. Exhale. If you're down on the ground, push yourself up with your hands. Zip your legs together and then round through your pelvis and start to lower yourself down little by little by little by little until you're all the way on your back. Oh man, reach your hands above your head. Take a big morning stretch. Breath in and an open mouth exhale. Let it go. A brief twist before we move into Shavasana. Draw your knees up to 90. Palms can be out to the sides, facing down in a big T shape so you feel supported. Inhale. Exhale, knees over to the right side. Twist your head to the left. Try to relax the knees down to the ground. Try to relax both shoulders down to the ground. And if you can't, that's okay. Think about the intention of letting gravity do the work for you in this posture. Breath in. And out. Another breath in. And out. Inhale, push your hands down into the ground. Try to pull them towards you slightly. It'll power up the arms and then lift up to center. Ugh. And over opposite side. One big twist. Maybe you bump that left hip under a little bit and then gaze over to the right side. Once more, think about gravity doing the work here. Surrender into the ground. Breath in. And out. Another breath in. And out. Last time, inhale. And exhale, squeeze your knees together and then come back to center. You can draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug and a squeeze, or maybe lift your forehead up to the knees and pull yourself into a tiny ball. See how small you can get. Breath in. And then exhale, explode out, feet long, arms wide. Shavasana, close your eyes. Allow the toes to just relax. So wiggle your toes, make sure you let them fall out because that will relax through the hips, something we've done a lot of work on today, our hip extension, right? Then maybe lift your upper back together, pull your shoulder blades together and kind of lock them under you so you feel like your neck is a bit longer. Breath in and out. A lot of times when we're looking for suggestions or what we want to do or an answer to something like, what do I need? We tend to turn to our thinking mind. So today in Shavasana, with the intention of just opening your heart to wherever the river of life is taking you, notice if anything comes up. If any sensations or ideas arise from silence over the next 3 minutes. One more breath in. Open mouth exhale. Let it go. Shavasana. Take a gentle breath in and out. Option to stay here for as long as you like. Shut me off and drift back into Shavasana. If you are ready, you can come out of the practice with me by reawakening your body with small movements. Gradually allow them to get bigger. Wiggle your jaw, wrinkle your nose, rock your head side to side, and then reach your arms above your head. Take a big morning stretch. Stretch over into the right side, lean to the right. Stretch to the left, lean to the left. And then draw one knee up into your chest, and then the other. And roll over onto your right side using your arm as a pillow in fetal pose. Then press yourself up to a comfortable seat facing the general sound of my voice. You can either bring your hands together at heart center or maybe two hands over the heart if that feels more authentic. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale, slide them down your back. Gently blink your eyes open. Get reacquainted with the room around you, the light around you, the sounds around you. Thank you all. Fantastic work. Happy Sunday. If you have any questions, feel free to stick around or email me and let me know. I will see you guys next week for the Sunday Sweat Club. Talk soon. Bye.